Good morning, YouTube. Today is Thursday, April 25th, and today I am going to talk about recent changes in gun laws in mainly my state, Louisiana, and a few that I've seen, mainly one, I guess, throughout the country. I've shared once or twice before in some of my shorter videos or some other videos that I happen to be a firearm enthusiast. Not a big tactical bro, as I like to call them. I don't have a bunch of t-shirts and I don't own a bunch of weapons at the moment, but I like them. I haven't even been to the range in probably like 10 years. In fact, my current firearm I own has yet to be shot, and I've had it for a minute. But recently, my state passed what is called constitutional carry. It joined 28 other states at the point where what is going to be allowed is permitless concealed carry. My state already had open carry, which consists of anyone who's not a convicted felon who can legally own a firearm, and the firearm itself is not illegal as in stolen or serial number scratched off, or in the case of states where they have to register, which my state does not, where the gun is registered. If that was the case, my state, again, there's only background checks at the point of sale. There's no actual registration. So provided that the gun is legally owned and the person's not a convicted felon and the gun is in a holster, visible at all times, perfectly legal. If you wanted to conceal it with a in the waistband holster or on a waistband holster but covered by some sort of concealment garment like a jacket, that requires you to take a class that is a safety class, which also includes marksmanship and in-class training about the safety rules and laws associated with it. Get your background check, a secondary background check, and fingerprints from the state police, and pay a fee. And then I believe it's somewhere between 2 and 4 years to renew it. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I do feel like that is an infringement upon the Second Amendment and also adds unnecessary registration to what should be a right. And obviously, criminals are not following that. Your average person who's out committing felonies is just tucking it in their waistband or in their jacket pocket or in their hoodie or whatever. They're not even using a holster, much less going through any of the proper channels. Like, those are going to be the one laws they're going to follow. So it does have some people in a panic, specifically in the major cities around my area, because they're somehow convinced that all the criminals who were doing the carjacking and things like that, it's going to make it easier for them because they were carjacking before, but they were just waiting on slightly looser gun laws so they could carry. They were doing it, I guess, with hopes and dreams before, not guns. I don't know. But there's something called hoplophobia, which is the fear of weapons, and guns are an inanimate object. They have no morals, they have no political party, they don't have any stance on anything whatsoever. They can be a tool for self-defense, they can be a way to relieve stress, they can be a hobby For collecting, they can be something like Legos where you accessorize things. I mean, my personal firearm I currently own, I have not put round one through it in the time frame, and I have geeked out about accessorizing and adding things onto it. I've had a blast about looking up new things to add onto it. I have enhanced the heck out of it and have not fired it one time yet, just because that part is fun to me. And I hope to take it to the range pretty soon, just because, one, I haven't been to the range in a good long while, and two, obviously, if this is for my personal safety, I really do want to test it. I personally open carry. I have a holster. I have a nice holster. It happens to be Battleship gray with blue rivets on the outside of it. And I open carry for multiple reasons. One, I'm a bigger guy. I lost a bunch of weight, but gained a little bit back. But it's uncomfortable to try and tuck a full-size pistol into your waistband. And I wear skinny jeans because I like the style, and with losing that weight, I kind of want to get back into the fashion sense of what I actually enjoy. I grew up kind of an emo kid. So, that being said, muffin top, late 30s, skinny jeans, full-size pistol. It's a lot easier to open carry. Plus, I don't want to pay an extra close to $400 when all is said and done, and make myself more of a target. Not that I'm necessarily scared, and not that the government doesn't know who I am. They obviously do. I have a driver's license. I participate in society. I have a social security number, all the above. And I don't think that I'm not a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I don't think they're around the corner every 5 minutes, but still, I don't need to be on the radar any further than any of us already are. Why give them that excuse? Because if they ever do become tyrannical and want to round people up or whatever crazy stuff they may do, I would imagine that people with concealed carry permits would be first on the list, because they obviously know, in states like ours where they don't register guns, hey, that's a good place to start, because those people have at least one firearm. I don't know. Recently, the state of Tennessee also passed a law about allowing teachers that go through the proper training and get their concealed carry permit to carry on school grounds. I personally am in favor of it. Now, I do have kind of mixed feelings about it. It does feel weird to think of teachers. Now, I think we need better security situations. I think we need better school resource officers. Maybe even start solving some of the crisis of our veterans and hiring veterans who can pass background checks and who can pass the mental health assessment, because unfortunately some of our veterans come home with mental health issues from the tragedies they've seen. So let's take care of our veterans' mental health, but give them something to do. Give the ones who are struggling jobs to protect our children, because we protect our money with armed guards. We protect our celebrities with armed guards. We protect our politicians with armed guards. We protect our children with a sign that says, "No one's armed to protect our children." There's a word that starts with an R that's kind of fallen out of fashion to use. I'm not going to use it, but it's a word that means challenged mentally, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's what it is. But there's a lot of cognitive dissonance when it comes to a lot of these rules and laws. But there is a lot of fear being stoked about what if the teacher goes crazy or things like that. You trust these people with your children every single day. there's no metal detectors at most of these schools. What's stopping the teacher? Or there might be, but they're usually for the students. Nobody's frisking these teachers coming in. What's to stop one of these teachers from bringing something in anyway, if they were intent on doing harm to the students? What's to stop them from beating your child with a desk or chair or that big outdated thing that we used to use in the back to cut paper, although I don't think they have those anymore, but it looks like a machete kind of. I don't know. I mean, I went to school in the 90s and 2000s, and I'm old. The point is, if you trust these people with your child every day, why all of a sudden, when they might have the means to protect them for anything other than just run and hide if there's an active shooter? Your math teacher's not going to be John Wick, but by and large, bad people are cowards. They are not looking for resistance. That's why they attack things like schools and malls and movie theaters. They don't attack gun shows. They don't run up in police stations. They don't go to biker bars. They don't go where someone is going to meet them with equal or greater force. They attacked, unfortunately, soft targets. I don't want my children to be those soft targets. So I just want to see people stop stoking the fear that teachers are suddenly going to become maniacs. And it comes from such a privileged place, and I hate to use the word privilege because it's such a overused word, and it's used as such a pejorative in a way that it's a bludgeon in some ways politically. But there's a lot of politicians who have private security details and also live in a major city where there are police officers who will respond to them, one, because of the fact that they're in a major city, and two, because of who they are as their celebrity status as a politician, in an almost instant if they're in any danger. But they will tell you that you do not need a weapon for your own personal protection, or that you do not need over a certain amount of rounds or anything like that. Well, I happen to have a 34 round stick magazine just for fun, and I don't even know it's actually a piece of crap. And my friend just passed and waved at me. I don't know from what I hear, it's a piece of crap, the magazine, but I want to take it to the range and play around with it, just not having to change magazines that often. It's not so I can go commit mass atrocities. But a lot of these politicians, especially the ones who push gun control the worst, were also pushing for defund the police. And they also push a lot of the narratives that there's police violence and things like that. Well, so on the one hand, I'm supposed to call the police because I shouldn't have my own firearm to protect myself, but also the police are corrupt and they're out to get me. That's two competing ideas. Anyway, this is my first somewhat political post. I've decided to venture out a little bit, stop being milquetoast fence sitter, make something a little more interesting. I decided also I'm going to start doing maybe a little bit of comedy, because I had some people laughing pretty good yesterday, and doing a little bit of my own stand-up comedy. So a little bit of politics, a little bit of comedy, maybe a little bit of political comedy for all I know. Holla at your boy. Check me out. Like, subscribe.